Shalom, shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Yahweh being the true name for every Father, Yahushai being the name for his only begotten Son, the world eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, taught us truth and will well, and citation, hopefully that presents truth and all sincerity. Spirit of Yahweh, you know that's the spirit power of Yahweh Yahushai. And this lesson is just going into a put your wives away if they are wicked. Don't be afraid to put your wife away to keep you on track in this truth, because these women will try to do anything and everything they can to pull you away from the truth and to do something that causes you to be locked up or in prison behind some bullshit that they pull. Okay, so I want to go into the topic of divorce today, and how the man is justified in leaving his wife for certain behaviors. All right, so let's get right into it, man. See here. Let's see here. We'll start at this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 25. All right, we're going to start at verse 16. It says, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. All right, that's that RBF syndrome. If you don't know what RBF is, it means resting bitch face. These women have a evil countenance on them. It's a resting evil face. You know? And now when the woman's wicked, that begins to develop. Verse 18, her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. All right, so this goes into how the women embarrass their men, their husbands. These are traits of a woman that you need to put away. And who are the neighbors or the fellow brothers you labor with and teach? This woman has done something that is shameful and embarrassing, you know, to the man she's dealing with. Verse 19, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Even this says all wickedness, so even the atrocities that Esau does, the wicked Israelite woman can surpass that. Surpass that, man. Verse 20, it says, as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. You know, it's hard to climb up a sandy way. If you try to climb up a steep hill that is full of sand, it is extremely difficult. So he's giving a comparison here. Climbing up a sandy way, not only is it's hard to get up there, but imagine an aged man trying to do it. So there's no hope in that situation. He's not going to make it up to the top. It says, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. You know, if you're a quiet man, a wicked woman will deem that as being feminine or soft or weak. You know, they take your quietness for weakness, or they take your quietness for provocation. These women are crazy, man. Verse 21, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. So this right here is telling you, low key, a lot of these pretty fine ass women, they have these attributes of wickedness. So don't stumble at just because she's cute or she's pretty. Because deep down, these women are evil. Verse 22, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. You know, these women, if they keep a man, that woman typically is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. They're not satisfied. So it's better to just not deal with them. Not deal with them. Don't even bother. The scriptures say if they're loose from a wife, seek not a wife. Don't seek a wife, man. There's no point. There's no point. That says, verse 23, a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. There you go, man. A wicked woman can make you less courageous. You know, it breaks your heart. Make a heavy countenance, wounded heart. You walk around your head down, upset, depressed. And then they won't comfort you in a time of distress. When you're going through something where you need the support the most, she'll capitalize on that to find an excuse and flip it to kick you down even further to avoid having to comfort you. They're sick and they're twisted, man. Verse 24, it says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. So that means they're evil by nature. Evil by nature, man. Verse 25, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Don't give her no freedom to just go out to the clubs and shit like this and go do whatever she wants. Because a wicked woman will take full advantage of that. And she'll adulterate herself out there, you know? That's even a word. Verse 26, here we go, the point I want to get to. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh. That means don't have sex with her no more. Cut it off, man. They'll try to give you the box and suck you up, you know, to make you forget about all the bullshit that they put you through. And when you pop in a woman, you become a one flesh again, you become in one spirit. And next thing you know, you've forgiven some shit that you shouldn't have forgave. If you're going to get rid of her, cut her off from thy flesh. Give her a bill of divorce and let her go. So if she's not going to get with the program, get in order, what she's supposed to do is submit and serve you in everything, divorce her. Get rid of these hoes, man. We're too late in the game to be dealing with a lot of bullshit and the amount of stress that these women come with. Just divorce them and call it a day. You know? There's another precept. Book of Deuteronomy chapter 24 verse 1. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. Finding uncleanness in a woman. And we looked that up in the blue letter. Uncleanness. If a man finds uncleanness in his woman, where does that come from?
Strong's H 6172. Erva.
So that's what this is what it means. Okay? Nakedness, nudity, shame. Okay? Nakedness of a thing, indecency, improper behavior. So finding improper behavior and everything that was listed in Ecclesiastes 25, those are all improper behaviors. If you find that, it's one of the justifications of divorcing a woman. Okay? These women don't have no shame. You know? To expose oneself, make oneself naked. Let's go to another thing. A woman that's uncovered. Uncovered, man. A whore. Not discreet. No shame. These are reasons why you can leave a woman and where you should. If you find her doing this shit, put them away. Don't let their wickedness bring you down, man. Just don't do it. Proverbs 21:9 says, it is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a white house. See, all these attributes a lot of these so-called black women give to their men. They're brawling women. So don't deal with a woman that's like that. Exercise your right as a man and divorce him. It'll bring you much more peace, man, than sit there and have to take that bullshit. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 2. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Now this part right here, he said this for the hardness of their hearts. But this isn't really lawful right here in verse 2. And that's justified. That the exclamation for that, or not the justification, but the exclamation for that is in Matthew. Matthew 19, verse 8 goes hand in hand with what we just read in Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 2. When you read this, you need to read this. Matthew 19 and 8. He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. Okay, that same thing is going to find uncleanness. And fornication also goes into idolatry, which means to worship other gods. So a woman that is worshiping the ways of Esau, and the way Esau is set up on how a woman should be towards her husband, that's idolatry. That falls hand in hand with fornication. And this falls hand in hand with Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. And finding uncleanness in her, except it be for fornication. So the only justification is you find uncleanness in her, fornication, or she's committing idolatry, or she's committing straight adultery. It says, and shall marry another committeth adultery, and whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. So how many of you women are out there causing all these men to commit adultery? Because you be put away from your husband, instead of you humbling yourself down, praying and fasting and getting right to get back to your husband, you choose to go do adultery time and time again. That's why the scriptures say the woman came to the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. No accountability, man. And right here, we see an example of the scriptures of when a woman got harshly judged by the Lord for the adulterous behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and read that here. The book of Judges. I believe we're going to go to verse 19. Yep. Chapter 19. Judges chapter 19. Verse 1. And it came to pass in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him, meaning she cheated on him. Okay, probably multiple times. And it says, and went away from him unto her father's house in Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having his servant with him and a couple asses, and she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. So there you have it. So the same guy, the same Levite, she's acknowledged as his concubine, meaning she probably was not a virgin. Because if you're not a virgin, you automatically have the status of concubine. You really can't call yourself the wife. But for you women yourself, the man that's dealing with you, yeah, you can acknowledge yourself as being his wife, but for everyone else looking in, you're a concubine because you're not a virgin. Okay? But however, a man could take you as his wife if he so pleases. But this case, this concubine, She already played the whore against him. So she's going to pay for this when we read on further. Okay, so he took her back and went to her father's house and met her dad, and he rejoiced to meet him, right? Verse 4. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodge there. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he arose to depart. And the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, Comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way. And they sat down and did eat and drink of them, both of them together. For the damsel's father had said unto the man, Be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thy heart be merry. All right, so we're going to read on further what ends up happening. So it comes time where they got to leave. Okay? So they leave the house. We're going to jump down to verse here. Verse 14. It says, And they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were in Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go into lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat down him in a street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at Eden, which was also Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou? And whence comest thou? And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went into Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of Yahweh, and there is no man that receiveth me to the house. Okay? So basically, the old man takes them in. He takes them in, he washes their feet, gives them drink, feeds them. Now, verse 22, it says, Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. So they're on that same Sodom and Gomorrah type spirit. Wicked ass Benjamite men, man, doing that. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly. Seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seeth good unto you. But unto this man do not so a vile thing. So they wanted to rape the man. All right, they're on that wicked spirit. But the old man was willing to give his own daughter up and the Levite's concubine up to preserve his life. Verse 25, but the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine. So it didn't take the daughter, but took the concubine and brought her forth unto them. And they knew her and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house where her Lord was till it was light. So she died, man. They literally ravished and raped her to death. Remember, the same woman played the harlot on her husband, and that woman got her judgment. So this is the judgment for you women committed adultery. You may want to go out and be with other men, and you want to commit wickedness, and you abuse your husbands, and you get put away, and you play the harlot. This is what's coming to you women, man. This is what's coming. Jumping down to verse 29. And he was coming to his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine and divided her, together with her bones, into 12 pieces and sent her into all the coasts of Israel. So he chopped her body up because he was pissed off what happened to his concubine and showed the whole nation of Israel what these Benjamites did. And there was a great war against them for that. But hey, man, let this be an example unto you women. Because verse 2 says it right here what she did, and she got her judgment all the way down here, man. So, you causing a wounded heart and making weak hands and feeble knees. Hey, Ecclesiastes 25 and 26. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, give her a bill of divorce, and let her go, man. And she will eventually get her judgment. And let this be a warning to you women of Israel, an example of how not to behave. Because that type of judgment can happen to you, man, what we just read. Repent. And with that, Lord's will is lessons edifying. I'm going to close out, give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstones, to our truth of no well. So I just hopefully pushing this truth and honest sincerity. Shalom.